Hello, beautiful friends. It's Erica. Today I felt really called to address an important topic that I've been getting a lot of questions about recently. And so I figured I'd come on and do a video in effort to support you on your journey. And today we're going to talk about 5D communication. We're going to understand what messages, a little bit more about it, what Spirit really wants you to know and understand about its purpose, how it can be helpful, and whatever messages they want to bring forth about 5D communication. Now, I'm going to be starting off pulling a few oracle cards to get the conversation started. This is obviously a huge topic and isn't necessarily just going to be covered in one video. So I may, depending on how this goes, may do a few of these over time, but we're going to start out and just see what messages want to come through. And also, quick announcement. I know many of you guys that purchased the Lightworker Survival Kit. I so appreciate all your messages about the fact that you're enjoying it, but I did announce that I was going to be pulling two winners of a free 30-minute reading, and I have I said I was going to do it on camera, but live, but I ended up not doing that because I realized that some people had already purchased it and they may not want their name blasted on YouTube. So to honor people's privacy, I decided to just do a random number generator and pull the names. And I've already emailed the two lucky winners, and they've already both responded. So I'm looking forward to doing those videos. Do stay tuned to the channel because I do periodically give away free personal readings, because I have not been open to personal readings for just about 3 years now. So, but I do enjoy doing them when I'm able to, for those of you that are members of my community and you amazing people that are here. So with that, let's get started. And also, if you haven't joined my Inner Circle membership, it's free, and you get special videos that I only send out to my members, and also even once in a while some special offers on some of my programs and courses. So let's get started. What does want to be talked about here? Okay, about 5D communication, and we're getting the Eternal Now card here. And let me get the right away, before I even open the book here, the message strongly that's coming through is that a lot of times the higher dimensional communication, 5D communication, which happens in non-verbal ways, a lot of times, is a way that you get information and communicate regardless of time. It is often with souls that we have traveled many lifetimes together. It doesn't have to be specific to a love soulmate or twin flame even. You can have higher dimensional communication with many different people. And coming through also strongly is, obviously, it is a way that our passed on loved ones from the 3D can also communicate to us. And it's really interesting because just to share recently how this has affected me is I had a dear college friend pass away last year. And literally, she came to me in a dream one day, and I wasn't aware that she was sick, and she had been in hospice, but I wasn't aware of this because we had been out of touch for a couple of years. And she came to me in a dream, and it was a couple days later that I found out she had passed. And so I'm getting a strong message here that, again, this is a topic that is highly complex, but right away, it is something that reminds us that this physical reality, this 3D reality, is temporary, and that our souls obviously are eternal, and we travel in between dimensions, in between lifetimes. in between timelines often. And so this is a reminder around what wants to come through. So if you've personally received any messages or had people come into your dreams who are possibly past loved ones or friends even, this is definitely a message. But let me see. And it's interesting, I've never received this particular card in all the times I've used this deck. It says, Dear one, have your thoughts become trapped in the pain of the past, and have they been drifting towards possible futures? If too much of your energy is pulled away from the present moment, you diminish the power that you have to create what your heart desires. Creation doesn't happen in the past or in the future. It happens in the here and now by the choices you make in each moment. And even now, in reading this message, you're choosing to be present, to bring your energy into the eternal now, stimulating the law of attraction into action. And as you relax in this moment, trusting that the past is over and the future shall truly be wonderful, you can more easily energize your dreams, visions, and heartfelt desires. The universe believes that you are deserving of a spiritual gift. To accept the gift in whatever form it takes, you will need to be present, to have enough stillness of mind to recognize it. You'll need to have enough inner peace to accept it and to take it inside where it can nourish, inspire, and heal you. The form of this gift will be perfect for you, and the way that it comes shall be perfect too. It is being orchestrated by divine timing now, and it will assist you to take the next step on your soul journey successfully. Your gift might be a piece of guidance, an inner knowing that changes your outlook permanently. It might help you truly know in your heart that your divine destiny is already unfolding and your spiritual success is inevitable. Gosh, this is such a perfect message for this video, is it not? I'm going to talk about it in a moment, but I want to finish reading this for those of you that I want to continue reading here just to finish it, because there are beautiful messages coming through. It says, it's not a question of if, only a matter of when. Your gift might be an amazing opportunity that comes out of the blue. It could be a meeting that will prove significant to your unfolding life path. It could be a new relationship or a new connection within a community. It might be a life-changing teaching, a deeply healing dream, or an actual object. Spirit is unlimited in its willingness and ability to give to you, and you need only be open to receive. And you do so by bringing yourself back to the present moment. Stillness of mind and inner peace are only possible when you're present in the eternal now. This is where you will find what you are seeking. So let the past be done. Allow the future to take care of itself. Center your awareness in this moment. You are safe. You are breathing gently now. You are here where you belong at exactly the right time. All things serve your greater good. Nothing is wrong. You are doing a fantastic job. All is in process. In this moment, there is just the peace and comfort of the eternal now. Relax, trust, and be nourished. If you have been worrying about the past or the future, this oracle comes with guidance to let it be. All is working out just as it is meant to, even the things you don't quite understand or find hard to accept. In time, you will know the perfection of all that is happening in your life. You'll feel so lucky, blessed, grateful, and truly loved. And for now, however, it is enough just to be here and breathe. Now, I typically don't use these cards on my readings here, simply because I always read from them and the descriptions are pretty long. But I felt really drawn to using that Lightworker Oracle today, and we can see exactly why. This conversation, this first card alone, is truly reminding us that with higher dimensional communication, it is important to be in the present moment. It is important to be still in order to receive. Sometimes we're so seeking and looking and wanting that it's that energy that we push it away. And so sometimes when we most want 5D communication is when it least appears. And so one of the things I wanted to share about the 5D communication is there's kind of two types. The first type is intentional, where you can go into meditation and attempt to have higher dimensional communication with somebody. But I want to focus this reading on the second type, which is where we, out of the blue, receive information. And this information can come in many different ways. It can come in the form of, oftentimes it's dreams. In the dream state is where we get a lot of communication. It's also where we can receive messages through song. We can see something on a billboard. We can see a scene in a movie that is like, that character is like that person speaking to you, and you just notice it and it sticks out to you. I think that's one of the important things to understand about the being present, is when you are present and just in the moment, that's when you're able to notice some of the subtleties. You know, sometimes people put this idea of 5D communication as like this big thing, but the way that the divine does speak to us and other souls speak to us is sometimes in the more subtle ways. And so when we're not present and we're hurried or we're looking over here, we might miss what's being presented right here. So if we can be still and receive, it's also about trusting what we receive. And the other really important message around fifth dimensional communication that we receive, whatever form it comes in, is it is intended to keep you aligned with your path. It's intended to remind you that you are supported, you are loved. And if you are constantly getting the same message in a dream space, for example, pay attention. Sometimes, and we're going to be getting into this, I'm going to be doing a more in-depth video after this that you can join me in if you would like, where I'm going to actually look more in depth into the difference between if it's real communication or if it's something else. Like, is it imagined? Is it our fears talking? And so how to discern between true higher dimensional communication and what might be something else. So I'm going to go more into that in an extended video. If you're interested, the link will be down below. But we're going to keep going here for quite a while to continue this conversation. So that was just to start off. And let's just see, what is the purpose here of what is the real purpose of 5D communication? I know this card touched on a lot of that already, but let's add some to this. What is the real purpose? Okay, so we have the indecision, appreciation, and the attachment, all in the reverse here. So many purposes for the higher level communication. But right off the bat, I was just speaking about not being attached to the concept, not being trapped in what you want that concept to be. Oftentimes the higher level communication, again, whether it is messages through dreams, a certain person coming to you in a dream and communicating to you directly in the dream, or whether it's a recurring theme in a dream, or whether it is message through another means besides a dream. What it's doing, the purpose is to give us guidance where we may be at a crossroads, or we're not seeing something that we're meant to see, or we're seeking information, or we'd like additional information that maybe we're not knowing. Sometimes they can be foreshadowing. For example, somebody can come to you in a dream and tell you something about something that hasn't happened yet, but they want you to be aware of something so that possibly if it happens in real life in 3D, that you've kind of had a forewarning or a pre-warning. But one of the other purposes of the 5D communication is showing us where we might not have understanding around some of the difficult experiences in our life. It can often come in right when we are having a rough time, or where we may be simply focusing more on the negative. Because often, for example, if we're talking about a twin flame connection or a strong soul connection, is that other person's higher self will help to keep you in check. If you're going down a path of negativity and doubt, and oftentimes even wanting to just leave or say, or just, abandon ship, basically, from the dynamic, that's when their higher self pops in to get you back on track. Because just as they are doing that for you, you are also doing that for them. Because your higher selves understand the soul contract that you have come here to experience together. And your higher selves understand the ups and the downs of being in physical form and being in the 3D world. And so oftentimes it can come in right when you are not appreciating, not having gratitude for even some of the challenges, where you can be getting somewhat negative. And I do feel like just when you may be feeling like you're trapped in, there's definitely a message coming through around just when you like, and you've heard me talk about this, so much happens when you're like, you know what, I just keep getting shown a certain path is my path, but I don't want it to be my path anymore, because it's not manifesting yet, or it's not in the form I want it to be, or whatever it is. When you try to leave your path, 5D communication can come in to go, you're not abandoning ship. You're stuck. You are stuck here. I know you want to leave, but we're going to remind you of your path. And so if you've ever been, many of you can probably relate to that situation where you're kind of just like fed up or ready to give up on, whether it's like your success or whether it's a relationship or whatever, and suddenly something comes in a dream space, or you see a sign, you get a sometimes like little things, like you can sometimes get a random junk email that the title is exactly what you need to hear, and you're like, oh my God, okay, I got it, Spirit, thank you for showing me. I mean, it's really, really crazy how that stuff happens. Sometimes 5D communication happens, where I remember once I was cleaning my garage, and I was having sort of a rough day, and the next thing I know, I find this piece of paper stuck in between my clothes, that was from this person. And I was literally smiling, going like, okay, I got it. I'm being negative Nelly right now. I appreciate it. I see you. I hear you. So it can come in any different form, in any form. The point is, if you notice it, it's important. And so anyway, that's part of its purpose. So how can 5D communication, let's get a couple other messages that want to come through. I'll just move these up. What other messages do you want to talk about regarding 5D communication? Okay, the thinking man. The man holding a coin. I swear these are not all upside down in this deck. The man holding a coin in reverse, and the cornucopia upright. There we go. Thank you for this beautiful, beautiful message. Okay. So what else they want to talk about here is the fact that oftentimes when somebody And I'll just use the example of a strong soul connection, soulmate, romantic partnership, twin flame, sacred union, whatever title you want to assign it in your world. This is often when there hasn't been movement yet in the 3D in a tangible way, but there's contemplation, there's thinking, there's figuring it out. This thinking man is someone who is contemplating love, contemplating higher dimensions. He's holding a 3-point crystal here, and he's thinking about love, partnership, what matters, what he wants. And the man holding a coin is kind of like the King of Pentacles or the Knight of Pentacles energy, which is this energy of moving forward. But cornucopia is here. So you see the bright light. When you have 5D communication coming in, it's like it'll get you in a good mood for the rest of the day, where you can wake up often from a dream when you have communication from a person and you just feel really, really, really good. And it keeps this light of abundance, that there's going to be abundance. So one of the other strong, important reminders about 5D communication is that it's shining the light into your world and showing you that this light is going to be appearing in your physical world. The cornucopia is tangible. It's the harvest. It's having everything that you want. It is an 11 card here, which is a master number. And so part of the purpose of the communication is to, in the absence of 3D communication, to shine a light onto what your soul needs to know. Another message here. So now we're getting messages about healing. Wow. Okay. So one of the other things I want to talk about here is that one of the other reasons 5D communication happens is because it's an energetic exchange that can be very healing to the other person. And I want to say, I'm speaking now about like another person, right? But remember, 5D communication can come from your guides. It can come from your higher self. It can come from even higher consciousness beings. So it's not simply limited to a soulmate romantic partner, okay? But one of the other aspects that's important to remember is it can be very healing. There can be actual healing of inner child wounding that can happen through dream space. It's almost like you're there for each other. Sometimes when one person is going through, especially with a strong soul connection, soul family even, like you may, and parents, you often can have this with your children. You can have it with your, certainly with your family members, your loved ones. But it's often when we're in need of some support, communication can come in. When you're having an especially rough time, another soul can come in, the higher self can come in through higher dimensional communication to be helpful to you in healing, to help give you insight, to have you see and understand within self, reveal some aspects of self. And I have to say this, sometimes that type of communication can be that like tough love message of like, okay, come on. I know you can do better. I know you can do better. And sometimes when we're getting in our own way, another person can come in and be like, through the higher dimensions, through the 5D communication, and come in and be like, really? Really? And it can kind of be sometimes just silly, sometimes fun. I had somebody communicate to me that, and this is somebody who's totally not into this, somebody communicated to me that they were doing something and they did something stupid. Like, actually, this person was like, yeah, this person works in construction and was like, yeah, I was doing something and I accidentally electrocuted myself. And this person was like, yeah, I totally felt you next to me, kind of like shaking your head at me, going, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that, because it's so this person. And so that's another way higher dimensional communication can come in, is where you're feeling the presence of a person. It's almost like they're right there, but they're not there, but you feel like they're right there. And it's almost like they're going through the experience with you. And it can be very, again, it's breaking out of the need for the physical person to be experiencing you in your life. And I know many of you who have loved ones who have passed on have experienced this, where you begin to understand how really the soul transcends the physical body. And even though, yes, you miss the physical person here, that you still have communication. My college roommate and one of my best friends for many years of my life, who passed, she still comes to me many times in dreams. And she comes and she hangs out like the way we used to in college. We were roommates after college. We lived together for many years. We traveled together, and she shows up in my dreams. And while she's passed and I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to her in the 3D, we have talked so many times since then in the higher dimensions, and she's just the same old person. She's the same person she was, and it's just such a comforting, beautiful experience. And it is very real. It's not imagined. It's very, very real. And so it can be one of the gifts. You know, again, speaking about what's not said, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye in the 3D. I wish I had had that chance. Yet she knows. And we've had that communication since. So let's see what else they want to say here. We get the action card, followed by the first chakra. And let me get a third card on this. The temple path. Okay. So what else can happen with the communication is reminding somebody of their ascension journey, because this temple path card is about the ascension journey. And the first chakra is very primal. Action is very earthed. And what it can do is it can help awaken somebody into more consciousness. How many times have you had conversations with people before they really begin their awakening journey, where they suddenly are just like, you know what, there were just too many times where such and such a thing happened where I had to start to pay attention and realize there's something more going on here than meets the eye. You know, the little example of, you think of somebody and they call you 2 seconds later, or text you 2 seconds later, because nobody freaking calls anymore. It's really quite funny. Or, you know, you have a dream and then the dream comes true within a couple of days. I mean, there does come a point where any sort of communication, telepathy, can help to begin somebody's awakening process, help move them forward into understanding more of their purpose here on earth. I mean, I gotta say, the higher dimensional, the 5D communications it can be really important sometimes to see it as, it's almost like, what do you want to tell me now, Spirit? Or what do you want to tell me now? And it's like you invite in information. If you need to problem solve, sometimes the problem can come through those methods. I mean, wasn't Einstein the one who talked about napping a lot? You know, and it's one of the things I've talked about a lot in my videos over the years, which is the need to honor self. And there are times where I, it's like, I'm like, I want to take a nap. But when I honor myself and take a nap, sometimes I'll get the biggest downloads in my dream space. And there's a reason that I'm receiving it, because I'm in that receptive mode. I'm not in my masculine energy trying to rush, do, accomplish. And all of a sudden it's like, nope, there's something coming through. And sometimes we have to get into that receptive state, which sometimes can be the sleeping state. Although much 5D communication comes in the conscious time, the awake time. But it's like the best ally in the world. And when you really begin to leverage it as a tool and begin to understand it better and to see over time how it really is a supportive, amazing aspect of being on an ascension journey, just life becomes so much more fun and so much more fascinating. I love the conversations I have with my soul family and my tribe, and we get to talk about all these amazing ways that we get spoken to through the higher dimensions. It's you know, to me, it's the most fascinating type of conversation to have with people. So let's get another final message here. And interesting, we're also getting the thinking woman. There is the divine feminine, right? She's the one who leads the ascension journey, is the inner feminine energy, has that wisdom, and often can lead the masculine in ourselves into a conscious awakening path. But that's exactly what I was just saying. Here's that thinking woman. So we got both the thinking woman and the thinking man here. And oftentimes it is the feminine energy that receives the messages. And not that the quote unquote, if again, masculine, feminine labels can get confusing. We are all masculine, feminine energy. But when the masculine is trying to think about what to do, what moves to make, it's the inner feminine that can communicate. And sometimes it's your own inner feminine energy that can come to you in a dream space. Again, or you want to call it your higher self. Again, the labels don't matter. It's very hard to put these concepts into words because words are limiting. So I'm just using the best words I can from time to time here, but just know that, you know, the language limits it, their true understanding of the energy. But I'm doing the best I can with the language limitations. So I'm going to leave with a final message here before I head over to the extended, where we're going to get more in depth into understanding the differences. We're going to do a compare and contrast in the energies that will be a tool for you to understand how to really discern. Because there are times where we get things in dream space or different ways that we get communicated to that aren't necessarily true 5D communication. There are other influences that can come in, and we can sometimes get lost in the messages. So we'll get into that into the extended, but let me leave you with a final message about what is the final message that you want to leave people with that aren't heading to the extended about the higher dimensional communication, 5D communication. And interesting, we're getting the solar plexus chakra, the royal you, a quiet sense of empowerment, being self-aware and not allowing outside influences out of alignment with your truth. Wow. So it says, do you know what it means to express personal sovereignty in your life? It's about how you hold your inner sense of worth and integrity, secure in your belief that you have a unique purpose. It's about feeling comfortable in your own skin, knowing who you are and that nothing outside you can challenge your authentic self, the hard-won seat of awareness that you have earned. You are the ruler of your mind, and you're being invited now to consider what discipline you need to apply to your thoughts. Are they consistent with the values and beauty that you intend for your life? It's important now to keep your focus on what is right and good for you as well as others. Challenges in your life at this time, no matter how large or small, must be met with a measured response. If life sends you a challenge, can you speak up and set your boundaries with grace and surety? Calm, intelligent leadership is called for now. Sovereigns know when to plan their battles, so stay out of unnecessary skirmishes and strategically wield your personal power. Now is the time to lead from the heart, from your authenticity and integrity. Hold your head high and know your worth. That is the mark of a true sovereign. Wow, I love that this came in because this is very, very, very important. One, it's like the crescendo of this whole message has led to this card, which is understanding that if you are looking for any sort of affirmation, confirmation of what's going on in the 3D, the 5D communication is the way for you to see the truth. Because how often do we see circumstances in our 3D world but that contradict our 5D communication? And it's literally something that can be like somebody that's not on their ascension journey will literally look at you and think that you're crazy. They're literally going to be like, I cannot believe that this person still believes this is their path. Because how do you even think that? But it's like, listen, I'm not thinking it. I'm being shown it. I mean, I'm being shown it through the 5D communication. I'm getting it consistently. And that's where there's an understanding of there could be a massive discrepancy in what you're seeing in the 3D versus what you're getting in the higher dimensions. Many of you, if you're in a romantic, divine, sacred union path, I mean, you could literally find out that the other person is getting married or is married or just had a child. But if the 5D communication is consistently clear from that person of something else, then it's your way of being a sovereign being and getting out of being reliant upon the 3D. Whether it's what other people think, whether it's what's going on in the 3D, it's literally it's helping you maintain, I'm being shown like almost floating between worlds where you can be of the 3D world, but still be knowing the truth and not letting it get you off your path. Remembering that there's a reason they keep giving you that communication. Because when this is, and we'll get more into this in the extended, but when this is real communication, it's often when you're trying to get rid of it or trying to move on from something. And it's the divine's way of bringing it back to you, going, no, this is your path. Continue to surrender to the path. And it could be crazy making sometimes, because there are circumstances where you're like, I have no idea what's going on in the 3D. I just have to have faith in what I'm getting in the higher dimensions. And again, that's why we're going to go more into the extended video about discerning the difference between imagination, real communication, and also sometimes when fears can come in. So anyway, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope that answers some of your questions, gives you some good reminders about it. And let me know in the comments if this is the type of video that has supported you. And I look forward to doing more in the future. Until next time, I'll see some of you in the extended. Bye.